I'm reading a poem entitled Soft Touch. Mi nombre, Manuel. Manual, that's who I am. Manual labor, working hands, a peon. Peon, they say. What do they know? I don't know how to read nor write ese. I'm a gopher. They don't ask me to read or recite. I run errands, sweep, mop, gather the trash, and they ask me to ask mi jefita y mi carnala to bring pozole, tortillas, frijoles y chile, red and green, because my family don't read nor write neither. We cook and we do cositas con nuestras manos y manitas. En Nambe, La Matanza, my grandpa butchered marranos, cows, sheep, goats, chickens, food for the extended family. He lassoed a borrega from the hind leg, threw the rope over the branch of an apricot tree, pulled the rope taut until the ewe hung upside down, kicking y orando, bleeding a madre. Grandpa tied the rope to the tree trunk. Ewe swung back and forth with left hand on her scruff and afilado blade on the right. He stopped the pendulum, and with a sure hand, Grandpa slit Ewe's throat. Blood bubbled out the open esophagus and gurgled at the trachea. The bleeding ewe instinctively sucked for survival air. Some of the thick crimson sangre dripped to the ground, but Grandpa caught most of it in a tin humatito that he told me to take to the kitchen. And later, the organs, where Grandma amasaba, cleansed the blood antes que se cuajara. And then she'd dice the liver, kidney, and some onions, mix it, and cook it for lunch. Fresh, homemade morcilla, para que no se echara nada a perder. El cavador. My grandpa hoed the garden, escardando, chile, maíz, peas, calabacitas y melones. He never used gloves. His hands were hard and strong, calloused, but tender to the vegetables and the familia they would feed. He held the hoe firmly, and he gracefully weeded el jardín, con asada, a cadence, sas y sas, todo el día. At times, he squatted down and pulled the weeds out by hand. He gently patted the earth around the plant, so it grew healthy and in place. Y regaba con el agua que llegaba de la sequía de la comunidad, y rezaba por la lluvia, San Isidro, Labrador. Y a cosechar. My grandpa gathered vegetables from the garden by holding the plant with one hand and pulling the fruit away with the other. Without bruising them, he put vegetables into turquoise morel buckets and bushels, then gunny sacks. I never learned those skills, to butcher ewes, to cook blood and organs, to cultivate and harvest a garden, but I learned to put meat on the table, and I learned about a basket and a ball. Not far from the apricot tree, Tio Benito nailed a basket on a ply backboard, 10 feet up a telephone pole, near Grandpa's garage and dispensita, the adobe storage room where the old wood estufa and frascos de pepinos, pickles, peaches, apricots, carrots, green beans, anything we freeze now. Y sacos de frijoles, chicos, garlic, onions, papas, carne seca, orejón y más were kept. The patio in front of the dispensita became our playing court. I dribbled, he dribbled on the dirt floor. Dust flew in the air. If it snowed, we swept it off and played. If it got muddy, we scrape-shoveled the court. If the mud froze, the court became uneven, lumpy, bumpy. The ball took erratic bounces. Good for hand dexterity, ¿saben? Dribble right, dribble left. The dispensita wall y la raya made with a stick or the heel of a shoe or the out of bounds, la rayita was for free throws. Y tirando, sapos cuentan. After I learned English better, I discovered a basket was a field goal unless it was a charity toss. Y horse, make it, take it, do or die. Y 21. Y los Celtics con black Converse tennis. Basketball. I stood at the top of an imaginary keyhole, chuteando field goals. Swish. popping the net, ese, or rattling it in. My first kiss, off the backboard. Automatic, dicho hecho, rotating the rollings on my fingertips until I could sense the seams spinning across, not up and down. So when I released the ball, it spiraled evenly backward in a high rainbow arc. I did it over and over again, touching and feeling that ball until it became a part of me. Yes, a part of me. When I grew older, I knew where the air had worn thin and was giving way to the air pressure. I knew where the Torito stickers had punctured my precious ball. I touched each of the 1,000 tiny little hand grips of the coarse like an orange surface of my ball. I knew where the air chuple was without looking because I stroked it lightly with the crown of each finger and thumb tip. Every bump, seam, lump, curve, ridge, valley. Y su corazón, vena, alma y pezón, was familiar to my sure, swift, calloused, hard and tender, working hands, basketball hands, manos vivas, con razón.
In the land where the sun kisses the earth, Cultura blooms with vibrant mirth. Bajo el cielo azul, under the sky so wide, our grace, our heritage pride. Bailando con pasión in rhythmic flow, la música del sol, a heartbeat's glow. Cascading like rivers, nuestra historia runs deep, a legacy of resilience, secrets we keep. Montañas lindas, mountains so grand, guardianes silentes watching the land. Cactus in flor, a symbol of strength. Residencia del norte, en cada lado. Sabores ricos, flavors divine. Nuestros platos tradicionales, a taste so fine. Tamales, enchiladas y el aroma de tortillas. Savoring memories cada día. Porque mi corazón es mi cultura. Familia y comunidad unidos con abrazos. Laughter's embrace. Nuestra cultura, la raza unida. So let us celebrate con el corazón abierto. New Mexico Cultura, nuestro tesoro más cierto. In the Southwest, con gracia y amor, nuestra historia y futuro, forevermore Cultura.
Wanderers in need of new life, in need of water, have always sought the springs that rise out of dry earth. White shell woman, I need your help to heal my heart. White shell woman, I am drowning in empty spaces. I need your help. She is well known to the Zunis, the Navajo, and all the ancient ones. Years ago, I heard her name from my friend Stephen, who said she lived at the sacred springs of Ojo Caliente. On my 57th birthday, I need to visit her. So I drive northward to her sanctuary. White shell woman, I speak to you and instantly you appear. You show me a pure white shell embedded in the cliff beside the spring. A tiny shell, empty for so long, exposed to the parching heat of time. White shell woman, I offer you my old shell.
Those white virgins kneeling in the front pew, heads bowed, the order of pointy black hats, Kentucky Ursuline petals. They look down at my foundation. This, my childhood church. I sit in the back with the santitos. They giggle. We are intoxicated by frankincense. I fashion paper airplanes out of the catechism. They fly out the stained glass window with those roses. Chisme. I know the punishment will be severe. Wrapped in the Guadalupe, I count the tiles on the ceiling, looking for cracks. Brown cheekbones pointed toward the sun. Strange little girl with crooked teeth. I write backwards and cannot see the school chalkboard. I sit downwind from the roses. They posture, looking at me and wonder. Free of scapulas, confessionals, rosaries, repetition. Spirit in the wind. Oh, great mystery, most at home in the valley of this church. I sit on an altar of Bibles, collected from the dead. I read them their favorite verses. My Lord sends sunlight through the cracks of the ceiling, warming the top of my head.
Suddenly, a dry tapestry makes me sing. It is the sky, after all. So many hymns have been squandered, but in the wake of turquoise beauty, marvelous concertos too give birth. Within the symphony, clouds reach into breathing forms. They're both audience and diva. But their crafty, enduring ways, a puff blows through, a sheep, two dolphin, an alligator's mouth. I wonder if they can see me. A confounding balloon menagerie leaves a tenuous trace, appearing and then leaving my wonder just as elusively.
Blackberries.
Ya.
Yo aquí pongo como 4 vacas cada año.
Oh, qué bueno.
Cambio,
Vacas. ¿Qué haces con la vaca?
las vendo.
¿La vende?
Mato una y vendo 3.
Oh, wow.
Compro otras 4.
Oh, wow. And those are blackberries. They look like wine, huh?
It's the same principle as growing grapes.
Really? Oh, wow. All right, let's go para atrás.
In the summer, you eye a river the way you tail a breeze. In the winter, you trail the water, the pulse of the ochre desert. You meander with her glaucous body, inhaling her raging blue music, riveted by the spotted towhees that cleave to her sinuous breasts. Back home, your own river is awfully arrow straight. She's been harnessed so long, she has forgotten to meander. In the Gila, though, the river herself leads you. You've forgotten how to meander, but the Jade River teaches you. You don't need to go anywhere. Just watch the birds weave around her bank. Thoreau said the best place to see birds is to sit down someplace and let them come to you. One winter, I started with the creek and worked my way up to the river. I hadn't been to the Gila in some time, and I hiked down to Bear Creek as the sun dipped. A motley flock of birds fled to 2 junipers. A surprising flash of red on inspection was a cardinal, pomegranate with a black face mask, and the male's sharp brown eyes pierced me. A luminous white-crowned sparrow flew to the Pinos Altos Mountains, where the creek begins. Lit up with alpenglow, this pink and tan range skirts the rear end of the Gila wilderness. The mountain's sedimentary layers are ghosts of deep-sea origins. Now they exhaled soft gilded pinks and grays so radiant they seemed to glow from within. Down I went, skirting a honey mesquite as its bold white thorns snagged my jeans. I flushed a handful of white-winged doves, more slender and curvy than the mourning doves in my yard. With flashy blue rings around orange irises, the doves have the vanity of flamenco dancers. Losing my battle with light, I humbly approached Bear Creek, a mere cub who 20 miles from where it begins joins the mother bear that is the Gila River. The creek murmured as the sun slipped beyond the horizon, reflecting 10,000 beams of light. Coral pink rippled into the blue-gray sky as I lingered. A lone ruby-crowned kinglet hopped in its bare tree, solitary but content, like me, to be breathing beauty.
Collapsing Sharing, and it is dedicated to Rose Provan in memory of Rose, a dear friend, collaborator, cohort, a performer who loved PBS so much so that we would have virtual PBS watching gatherings, in particular to watch the newest every time of Ken Burns on PBS. And so this is dedicated to Rose. To see a life floating in and out of its body, the soul alive, the body deciding the life, if the life still alive, is quite a sight. Mega text, there's a poem idea for later. Shh. To be true is to be alive, aware, in pain, aloof, connected, daring, caring, sharing, failing, falling, collapsing, crawling on the floor in the pajamas. One look and you can tell the kid may be a little off, though with a big heart, feeling bad for feeling good, feeling bad for forgetting, feeling bad for caring, feeling good with caring, feeling good for not caring about forgetting, making the choices, tortured, calm, relieved, as long as some cats are around, try to toe the mark as needed without being shocked, follow the stars with a toe in the pond and some hair in the mountains, and hope for more of the best than the worst, living in the moment while hoping for minimal collateral damage, controlled excess to survive others, and maximum helping, sharing, healing.
When it's time, you'll have to leave the party. Though your champagne still fizzes in the goblet and cherries beckon on the branch. Though graceful snowflakes drape the foothills with a wondrous cloak. Though you haven't written the last line of your poem. When it's time, you'll have to leave the party. Some won't notice that you've left the room. Some may be relieved. Some will walk with you to the door, stroking your hand, kissing your face, telling you how much they loved you. When you cross the threshold, may it be with a flurry of love, a festival of wildflowers, a full glass of wine when it's time to leave the party.
I don't pause for tears beyond this stained mask. I persist in the spring where the virus blooms. You see deciduous wisterias, my purple gloved hands. You see an endless river, tears in my eyes. In this silence where the words gather, you shed your leaves. I pause for your heartbeat. You perish in the new light of summer.
Stephen Jules Rubin, this is from my Jules one a day little Facebook thing dedicated to Maya Angelou. Jules adds a poem because Maya said men should do. Maya said for men to write their own poem. Not that I need to follow up greatness with my tomfoolery, but I also ain't one to not follow the words of the likes of Maya Angelou. As she says, we dance with our heroes. Baile. So, the man's time is breathing on us again this moment. Here's a short one. Thanks to Miss Maya and to many, many amazing women, phenomenal, I've known, seen, met. Thanks to all y'all sheroes.
Recordando los 50s y 60s, cuando íbamos al norte a trabajar, nos íbamos con tan solo la esperanza que nos fuera bien y poder regresar. Nos íbamos derechito al Betabel, luego nos pasábamos pa' Traverse City. Qué bonito se miraban las lagunas y los árboles cargaditos de cherries. Ay,